So the flu vaccine is very much like the coronavirus vaccine, but we've had the flu vaccine for 90 years. So every year it's fine-tuned and perfected. And originally they told us the flu vaccine, you'll give one shot, you'll have immunity for life. And then it turned out, no, we need to get it every year.
Because there are variations of the flu.
Right, and that's the same thing is highly likely to happen with coronavirus. Yeah. Now, the Cochrane Collaboration, which is the ultimate arbiter for vaccine safety, it is the highest authority. And the British Medical Journal have done 3 giant meta-reviews on the flu vaccine literature. So they look at all the literature that exists, the peer-reviewed literature that is on PubMed, I think 127 studies. They did it in 2010, 2014, and 2017. Here's what they found. CDC said the flu vaccine is 35% effective. That's what they claim. Cochrane Collaboration said no. You have to give 100 flu shots to prevent 1 case of flu, number 1. Number 2, there is 0 evidence that the flu shot prevents any hospitalizations or any deaths. Number 3, the flu shot transmits the flu. In fact, if you get a flu shot, you're 6 times more likely to give somebody else the flu than if you didn't get the flu shot. And this is true, Alan, for many, many other shots. For example, the polio vaccine, which you know about, is so good at transmitting, giving polio to other people that 70% of the polio cases in the world today come from the vaccine.
So let me ask you a specific question.
And the chickenpox, if you go to the chickenpox manufacturer's insert, it says if you get this chickenpox vaccine, you should not go near a pregnant woman for 6 weeks or anybody who's immunocompromised. Same with pertussis. You become an asymptomatic carrier. So you're not guaranteeing. And in fact, the AstraZeneca vaccine, the Oxford vaccine, which is the other leader, when they gave it to monkeys, the monkeys continue to transmit the disease. And Bill Gates and Fauci have been going on TV saying, we may get a vaccine that protects you, but you may still be transmitting it. So why are you going to lock that guy up in a house? Look, all people out who are now asymptomatic carriers because they got Gates' vaccine.
Let me agree with you, first of all. If they develop a vaccine that only prevents you from getting it, but doesn't prevent you from transmitting it, I would not be in favor of compelling that vaccine. And I think the Supreme Court would not accept that as a rationale. But I want to ask you a direct question. I'm 81, I'm almost 82 years old. My doctor, who I love and admire, says to me every year, come October, you must get the flu vaccine. You must get the vaccine against pneumonia. You must get the vaccine, whatever it is, against shingles. I listen to my doctor, who I love and admire, and has been taking care of me for years. Should I instead listen to you and not take the flu vaccine?
Nobody should listen to me. People need to do the science themselves. And I would say to you, no, listen to your doctor, what Reagan said about Gorbachev, trust but verify. You look at the vaccine inserts, Alan. Yeah. Look at some of the science. And I would say, in a million years, I would not take the flu shot. And I'll tell you why, because this is what Cochrane and BMJ have found. People who take the flu shot are protected against that strain of flu. They're 4.4 times more likely to get a non-flu infection. And you might find, and a lot of people do, that they get the flu shot and then they get sick. They're usually not getting the flu. They're getting something that is indistinguishable from the flu because the flu shot gives you something called pathogenic priming. It injures your immune system so that you're more likely to get a non-flu viral upper respiratory infection. In fact, the Pentagon published a story, and you can cite this, it's by Wolfe, W-O-L-F-E, in January of this year, in which they said that the flu shot not only primes you for flu, but it primes you for coronavirus. They gave they had a placebo group and they had a vaccine group because they wanted for military readiness to see if the flu shot was prophylactic against coronavirus. What they found is actually the people who got the flu shot were 36% more likely to get coronavirus. And that's not a lone study. We found 6 other major studies that say the same thing. If you get the flu shot, you're more likely to get coronavirus. And this is what the science says, and you should not listen to me. Nobody should.
I understand.
Read the science.